This is a stream of my workouts. I'm doing a body transformation this year. The thing that sets my body transformation apart from others is that I'm not doing anything with supplements. Pardon me. So no protein shakes, no protein mixes, no creatine, no pre-workouts, nothing extra. Just trying to get all of my nutrients from the food. So yeah, pretty simple, pretty basic. This is chest day. Gonna be hitting the bench press. Gonna be trying to do this pretty quick. I don't have a lot of time due to my poor time management skills. All right, here we go. I'll warm up with 10 pounds. Yeah, time management is not one of my fortes. I always want to get better at it, and for the most part, I do. I managed to always get my kids to school on time. No, that takes a lot of work. The hardest part for me for time management is not getting like caught in my own head and losing track of time. If I really want to be someplace on time, I have to set like timers or an alarm that will like repeatedly go off so I know the time is going so I don't get stuck. I tend to daydream. I tend to get, stuck on a thought and then lose track of time and be staring off into space like a weirdo. But, on the flip side, I can entertain myself in my own head for a long time. I very, very rarely get bored. Um, because that's one perk to being easily distracted. Uh, Move on to the 10 pounds or 20 pounds, 9.07 kilograms. I got to go help out in my kids' classroom today. It's a lot of fun, and teachers do have it pretty hard job. And you always know that, but I think when you like I'm a dad and I have my own kids to manage, and then when you go see them like trying to manage all these other kids, it's pretty impressive. Does not look easy. I think they're trying to keep your sanity Like there was one kid that just kept telling me the same thing like over and over again. And he just kept talking about his mom's cough. And it was like the sentence like restarted so many times. I was like, yeah, that's rough. Yeah, my mom, she's coughing. She has a cough. Yeah, no, yeah. Well, that's no fun. Having a cough. Yeah. So you're gonna cut that apple out? Yeah, I'm gonna cut the apple. Okay. So you're like watching them try and cut, and like, yeah, my mom's got a cough. Okay, okay. And it was a nice kid. Like obviously very concerned about his mother, which is it's a nice, good trait to have as a kid. But man, they just go on and on. And I'm only volunteering, like just for a minute, but I just can't imagine the if I have to listen to that caliber over and over again, it would be like very rough. And my kids talk a lot, so I cannot imagine having to give that one child conversation time and focus, and then also my child who's going to also engage in stories. It's funny is like there's memories you don't really think about until you're in that situation. And like watching these kids play reminds me so much of being in school, and like memories that are really old come like flooding back. Things you just don't think about on a regular basis. I'm just glad that my kids are going to a much better school than I went to, because I went to a pretty poor school, very ghetto school, and it was rough. And I could not imagine sending my kids to that school. It's funny as I looked up my old school, because you can see like school stats and stuff on different websites, and the elementary school I went to is still like rated as a horrible school. And I was reading the comments of one of the parents, and they were talking about their second grader fighting and stuff and being bullied. And I was like, man, this is exactly like my second grade experience. Like, it's kind of a bummer because you're like, oh man, nothing has changed here. You guys still suck. It's just like, it's been 34 years since I went to your school, and you guys haven't made any progress. Like, how is that? How is that possible? How is it possible you suck that bad? And you know it's not the same people. Like, I doubt very. I'd be very surprised if any of the school administration that was responsible for the hellhole when I was there is even still around. I mean, 34 years is a long time. But, man, just can't seem to fix it. I wonder why that is. I wonder who responsible, who, what responsible person looks at it and says, yeah, we're fine with this school never getting better for 30 years. We'll just keep it at mediocre. It's not even mediocre. I think on a lot of things it's like rated 1 out of 10. It has like ones and twos, so it's like below mediocre. It just doesn't matter. It makes me kind of sad. You think people would take it upon themselves to be like, this year we're gonna turn these ones into fours, or we're gonna turn these ones into threes, and then get better and better. Like, no, get it. This is too hard of a task. Which, how can you teach and run a school when you can't learn how to fix it? And there's like they talk about how like poorer areas and unsuccessful areas stay that way because anyone that is successful like leaves. So you get successful and then you move on. I heard a story once about like Tupac at some like fundraiser where they were giving money to inner city schools or something. And he like told him like, hey, like we don't need your money, we just need you. We need you to come back and be like positive role models. Maybe that's the problem. When I was a kid, and you'd always see like teachers on strike asking for more money. But my biggest problems in school, like being picked on and stuff, was directly related to teachers not doing their jobs. So it always made me think, like, man, like, how do you want more money? Like, you don't even come back. Like, the worst was in second grade. The two teachers that had classrooms next to each other would always be late coming back from lunch, which would leave us alone outside the classroom, and we were at the back of the school so no one could see us. So things got pretty not fantastic for me because I was like the smallest kid. But so it always like surprised me, and they're like, "We need more money." I was like, "Well, you're like you're being lazy and not coming back from lunch on time is the reason I get picked on and beat up all the time." And then you tell me you want more money for that. Never understood it as a kid. And then, it's possible the teachers never knew how bad they were. Their inattentiveness was affecting my life. Maybe they thought they were doing a great job. I could probably find them and tell them, but if they were in their 30s then, they're like 64 now, probably 70 years old. Not really. I don't see the point. But that's why it's important for me to pay attention to my kids and their schooling and where they go to school. So I don't need my kids to have those experiences. All right. So that was the 55 pounds, 24.95 kilograms. Moving down to the 50 pounds, 22.67 kilograms. What's up, White Tighties? White Tighties says, my dude, how's it going, man? Just talking about the fantastic side of going to like a poor school when you're a kid. All the fighting and stuff versus my kids. I was helping out my kids' classroom today, and they just have such a nicer life than I did. It's good. I'm glad. did you have a good elementary school experience? White tidies. I was the smallest kid in my class, so it was not always fantastic. It was all right. Nothing to write home about. Ha ha ha. Well, that's good, man. Yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited for my kids. Like they go to a pretty decent school. For public schools, it's great. So it's very it's nice. It's nice to be able to go in and see them, and then see the kids that they're going to school with and how the kids are. It's funny to watch the difference the difference between the boys playing and the girls playing, and how they interact with each other. There's like one boy that was making a fighter jet, and another kid that was low key making a gun. I don't think they're supposed to make guns, um, but he was like using these like little blocks to make a gun. I was like, all right. He was smart enough when I asked him, I was like, oh, like what are you making? He was like, oh, nothing. I was like, I don't know. I was like, okay, cool. I'm pretty sure that's a gun, but okay. I would have been making a gun when I was in kindergarten. We've all been making toy guns. My dad says, "Ah, smart kid." Yeah, I was the last of the generation that had toy guns that looked like real guns, like no orange tips. And then, like, I think I was probably on the tail end of elementary school when they like made a law because too many kids had gotten shot by police officers that like you can't have toys that look like real guns anymore. And I remember like seeing a newspaper article where they were showing like a dumpster just filled with all these toy guns that looked real. And like, no, I can't do this anymore. Because we had super cool guns. Now, like in California, you should see. I wanted to buy a pistol, like a pirate's pistol, off of Amazon that had an orange tip, but apparently it wasn't enough of an orange tip, so it like was banned. Like Amazon won't ship it to you. And there's a bunch of toy guns that California won't let get shipped anymore, and they look absolutely fake. But the law is so tight on what you can ship, Amazon won't send them to you. I want to say I'll be right back. My kids is moving around. All right, I gotta hit one more quick set, and I gotta bounce. They're not gonna be chill. White Texas is too dangerous. Yeah, elementary school was pretty normal, not super memorable. LOL. Middle school and high school were not the greatest. Oh yeah, my middle school sucked. Was not as bad as elementary school, mostly because I learned how to fight and was good at it, and people were scared of me. Which is something because I was still like one of the smallest kids, but I had like guys that were a lot bigger than me, like absolutely scared of fighting with me. I gotta hit this last set and then I gotta go though. They're not going to. They're not staying down. That was a warning shot that they're done with nap time. I'm about to get crazy. This guy says nothing too bad. This was never really a cool kid. Was kind of chubby. I was always smart in classes, and I feel like it made me come across as kind of nerdy. Uh huh. Well, that'll do it, man. That'll do it. I only went to high school for my sophomore year, and it was a completely different experience than anything I'd gone to because my mom put us into this private Christian school for a year. Um, and the kids were all like upper class or upper middle class kids, like really rich. Um, Me and one other kid and my sister were like the only Hispanic kids in the whole school. Otherwise, it was all like I think there was one Asian kid and the rest were white. And it was just such a different experience. They were all very sheltered kids. Uh, it was weird because they were also like more disrespectful because they didn't fight. So they would say things to you, and I would be like, all right, like, let's fight, and they'd be like, what? No, we're not fighting. And I was like, oh, okay, well that's different because you wouldn't talk to me that way when I went to middle school unless you really wanted to fight with me. Whiteside says, I went to an all boy high school. Haha. You can imagine how rough it could get. I've heard, man. I've heard some stories about all boy high schools. I definitely have heard some tells. But hey, you survived it. I survived it. And we only have to go back in our nightmares. Right? Awkward dreams. All right. Well, I got to skedaddle. Thanks for coming by, man. Sorry I can't hang out. But, as I said, it's the part about being a parent. Our time is not our own anymore. Have a good weekend, man. God bless you guys. Thank you for everybody hanging out. Well, I don't see you, but good to hear you. Hope we're not getting too many rude customers today complaining about their logins. Yeah.